I had never done theater before, with the exception of some little plays in my little Catholic grammar school in New Haven. And, you know, I had fun doing it there, so I was like, well, maybe I'll try it. And I tried to sing some of the songs and went for the audition and got cast as the lead in Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Theater saved my life at that point, because all of a sudden I found all these people that accepted me for who I was. And I guess I was always kind of gay, but I wasn't in my eyes, because I thought I was hiding things very well. But there were people who were gay in the club, and of course it still wasn't talked about at that time, but you kind of knew, and you kind of became friends with them, and you found more connections. So I thought I had found my place. The story of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat was about a guy with, I think, 11 brothers, and they basically were very jealous of him and shunned him and beat him and left him in a pit for dead, and then went back home to their father and said, Joseph's dead, and that kind of thing. And Joseph had to go out on his own and find his own way in the world. And that's really kind of where my story begins. And no, I didn't get beaten, or I got shunned plenty by my family, but didn't get beaten and left in a pit for dead. It was just a matter of enough emotional events that made me have to find my own place in the world. At one point in my senior year, I had just had enough of all that shunning and name calling, and I packed the biggest duffel bag I could find, and I did. It was right after I had a car. It's amazing how when you get a car and you're in high school, you feel this sudden sense of freedom. I soon found out it wasn't really a great house, but it was someplace I could go, and someplace I could be self-sufficient, and I had a job, and I was still going to school. And so I packed the biggest duffel bag I could find, and I started heading down the long hallway of my house. I was always amazed at how long the hallway was, and it felt longer. And my younger sister was sitting on the couch watching MTV, and she had stopped me, and she said, "Hey, Rick, where are you going?" And I don't remember exactly what I said, but I think it was anywhere but here. And I wanted her to stop me, because I thought she would. And I looked back at the TV, and that video was I think the subject matter was a kid running away from home. And that kid starts walking down the stairs with his bag, and he heads out the front door to slip into oblivion, not knowing where he's really going. And Corey Hart singing, "Never surrender, never surrender." And I looked back at her, and she was just watching TV, looking past me. And so I left. And that was the first time I tried to find myself. It would take a couple more times to do it, but it was the first time I tried to find myself.